Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Alton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington with help from John Coleman.
Well, welcome to Intelligent Ramblings. This is week number 23. Yeah, we've been doing this 23 weeks. And wow. I'm Bill Lofton. I'm your host with a co-host, Gary Glenn, William Howington, and John Cone. Hope everybody's week went well. Anything that's not kilter, or whatever the word is, out of kilter.
Getting over COVID.
Well.
You had COVID, Gary?
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Thought I had a head cold. Never had a sore throat. Never had any of the other symptoms. Never had a fever. Just was coughing and had some congestion. Go to the doctor.
Thank goodness.
I go to the doctor and they think it's just bronchitis or upper respiratory or something. Well, I came back to test for COVID, so I didn't believe them. I had to get out my own test. It turned dark like real fast. So.
Yeah, I remember
I don't think I'm infectious, anymore. But I've just been staying at home the last couple of days, taking it fairly easy, kind of recoup a little bit.
That's a good idea. When I thought I was sick, I got tested, and my wife did it. Her being a medical professional and whatnot, and right. She said it went loop, and it really didn't even affect me that much. Felt like I had a little head cold, and that was about it. Well,
I've been vaccinated however many times they advise you to get vaccinated. I've had COVID before, so it's a crapshoot. I mean, it really is. But I think what it did do is prevent me from having something really severe, and I think that's the bottom line.
That's good.
I'm vaxxed out to the max. I think I missed the last one, but I'm done with that. But I've got plenty enough in my system, I believe. Trump not immune, says the three-panel jury, or three-judge panel. So that means that
vaccinations and immunity.
Really, I guess it says that if the president decides that he wants to send his Secret Service out to assassinate whoever's running against him, he can't do that. And they can't start insurrections as well. So, he's not immune. So, what do you think?
I think there's certain things that, political things, something like that. I mean, you've got to be given some leeway. Otherwise, he does have a point that the next person that comes in is going to try to hold you accountable for something that you did while in the course of your job as president. However, if you break the law and it's not in the course of the job particularly, then you shouldn't have any kind of immunity. Nobody should be above the law in this country, not even the president.
Exactly. One of the interesting things that's going to come out of this is there's not any real case law about this. So it's going to define further what executive privilege and immunity really is all about. So it's going to be a really interesting time.
Well, John, probably one of the things that kept that from coming to pass was when Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon for all crimes. That might have been some case law established had that been allowed to proceed, but Ford,
right,
and I think wisely so, decided that the country had been through enough and decided we'll put all this behind us and be done with this. Of course, Biden's never going to do that, so we may have to see how this plays out.
Well, I think it'll play out with a prison sentence. I think it'll be, he'll actually do 2 or 3 months in jail, but I don't think that that's all it's going to be. Insurrection.
No, he didn't do anything.
He did stand up there and say, "Let's go to the White House. Let's stop this." To me, that's insurrection.
The Capitol.
He said, just go down to the Capitol and let's go. Here we go, guys. Let's go. Time to stop this. Are you going to let them do what they're doing down at the Capitol, or are you going to go do something about it right now? And he told that to a couple thousand people. If that's not leading to insurrection, I don't know what is. Yeah, prison, Joel.
I think there are other charges that will come forward for that too. Some of this other stuff. We'll wait and see.
Well, but that's something.
Well, let's go back to the beginning of our country. There was an insurrection against King George in England. That's how our country began. So if these people in the Congress don't start doing something, there's going to be more insurrection.
He never said peacefully.
He never told them to tear up stuff either. So
he did stop it. He stopped it 3 hours later, but he could have stopped it right then. When he saw that it was getting out of hand, he should have come out and said, "Hey, this is too much, dudes. Let's back off. We just want to this is a peaceful protest." But he waited 3 hours till they did thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Well, they should pay for that, but not him.
Well, they
the ones
are.
that did it.
The people who stormed the Capitol, the ones that they've been able to prosecute, are getting sentenced to jail, and they should be.
Yes, I think insurrection is good. I think it's time that we do something besides sit on our butt and talk about it like we're doing right now.
Well,
we've got to do something about this.
That's what that's all we can do is vote them in and vote them out. And as long as there's no term limits, we're going to be stuck with the same Congress and the same Senate for over and over and over. I don't know how it's going to change, but a insurrection is not the way. There's no doubt about that.
What are we going to do?
Well,
if you ask me, are you seriously thinking we should take up arms against the government? We're going to lose that fight.
No, I didn't say take up arms. I didn't say take up arms.
Oh, what? I don't know what else that means. We tried the Civil War thing. That didn't work either. You've got the rule of law and things have to be followed in civilized countries. That's what we're battling with the rest of the world.
Well,
these uncivilized barbarians who think it's just they can do anything they want to. Not only
and our Congress is letting these people come across the border free of will.
Well, that's got nothing to do with it.
And they're coming across the border because we keep offering them jobs. And we can't run
that's Congress allowing that.
The border ain't got nothing. That's a different.
That's right.
That's a whole different situation. What's that got to do with the insurrection?
Insurrection has to do with Congress being ill-equipped to do their job.
Ill-equipped? How are they ill-equipped?
No, I'm with you there. Yeah. Or they're not willing to work together to solve problems. What we got here is people that want to cause problems rather than solve problems.
Well, I don't know what the answer is as far as, I know not to take up arms, but to march on them and show them that we're stood all we can stand. I can't stand anymore.
Well, they marched on them, and when they got down there, they should have said, "Boo, boo, boo! We don't like you," and protested all they did. But the problem is, they went inside the Capitol and started tearing shit up.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have done that.
And they had a hangman's noose. They had a hangman's noose out there in the parking lot. They built a place to hang people with, and they were looking for
and don't forget
specifically people.
There was loss. There was loss of life in this too, and injury. So
yeah,
that's not
Capitol
a peaceful
Police
protest.
died.
Constitution gives you the right to peacefully assemble, not to cause a riot. And whether you call it an insurrection or a riot, by all accounts, it was violent, and that should never have happened. And I think Trump could have done that, prevented that.
They went into the Capitol and disrupted business going on, but they weren't going in there with the idea of hanging somebody. You know, and they weren't hollering out the names of people that they wanted to get, and they wanted to hurt people. It got out of hand. That's all there is to it.
They could have hurt somebody if they had wanted to.
That's a mob mentality.
Well, I think one of their main objectives was to stop the process of counting the electoral votes. And they were successful in doing that, unfortunately. Thank goodness they came back later that night and completed the count. But they were successful in doing one of the things they set out to do.
I don't know who Ray Epps is.
I don't have any idea who Ray Epps is. Who's Ray Epps? Jay Johnson?
Is he one of the protesters, or is he one of the people defending the Capitol?
Excuse me.
Well, it got out of hand. I don't think Trump meant for it to get like that. I don't think
I hope not.
A conspiracy theorist. That's who he is. According to Andrea. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Huh.
Oh, well.
Hey, Joel, you wouldn't be the first one to accuse us of unintelligent babbling.
But
it won't be the last.
that's
It
right.
won't be the last. And you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts, as someone has once said. So facts stand the proof of time and truth. And opinion is opinion.
Let's see, Joel says,
He was an instigator, riling everybody up, encouraging everybody to go in and storm the Capitol. What happened to him? Oh, yeah, he was an FBI plant.
Mm-hmm. And people didn't walk on the moon either.
Now, that may be true. I don't know. I don't have all the facts. I think that's one of the problems, that we have people in power who don't get to the facts. They just sugarcoat what they want and don't do what they're supposed to do. That's why we got the mess we got.
I agree with you, William. I agree with you.
I think the thing that they absolutely fear the most is if we were all to get together, cross the aisles, join hands, get around the campfire, sing Kumbaya, and then march on Washington. If we could get all the sides together and do that, that would get their attention in a huge way. And
well, I absolutely agree with you,
John. But they got us so
John.
divided that, we can't agree on what truth is and what facts are. So we're not getting anywhere close the way we're going now.
Well, talking about bipartisanship, the bipartisan bill was killed today by the Republicans. Only 4 Republicans voted for it. And so we don't have the bipartisan bill about the Border Security Act, what we've been really desperately needing, and everybody's pitching about it. And we finally come up with a bill, and the people that wanted to have the bill voted against it. The ones that have made the most noise about a bipartisan bill to secure our border voted against it. And the reason they voted against it was Trump said, don't vote for it. I don't want it to come out that Biden had a major win in his in an election year. And that's the reason.
Well, and allegedly they said it wasn't tough enough. You got to start somewhere. And something's better than the nothing we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be tough.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. We finally get a bipartisan bill. We got people across the aisle, and it was voted down, and it was real close. But not. I mean, every Democrat voted for it, and the Republicans did. That tells me how whacked out our Congress and those people up in Washington are. I'm blaming the Democrats and I'm blaming the Republicans. They are just so whacked out.
Oh, I blame both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some blame to go around. But obviously, we need something to go on there with border and security.
Well, I mean, that was, maybe it ain't perfect. No, it probably wasn't perfect. There was something weird about it. But it also contained money for Ukraine and money for Israel. And, you know, the money for Israel, to me, is on a lower scale to me because Ukraine needs it badly. We have to stop the Russians from expanding. Ukraine would be a prize to have due to their as much as
rich.
They produce
Minerals.
I mean,
Yep.
the minerals. It's just an amazing place, and it was an amazing country until those asshole Russians decided to. Well, that's not the asshole Russians. That asshole Putin decided, you know, to start Putin's war. Oh, look at here. Lisa Tritt. But we are the USA. I like that.
Yeah.
Love, love.
We got a lot of comments going on behind the scenes here. So
Yeah, trying to keep up.
On the chat's got their own dialogue going on. That's okay.
Well, if we enforce existing laws, the problem with that, Joel, is the fact that we don't have enough people to enforce the existing laws. Do I want our border secure? Hell yeah. I'm sick of it. It's affecting our school systems. It's affecting our medical systems. It's affecting everything. Crime is going up largely because of it. You know, that's with the existing laws. Bullshit, Bill. Come on. What, the existing laws is up to bullshit part? I don't understand. And Talisha, why worry about a different country when ours is failing? Absolutely. I think we ought to worry about it. But you got to worry about something like Russia. If they're left unchecked, they're just going to keep on moving because if they were to take Ukraine with no problem, do it in 3 days like they thought they were going to do it, they're going to go straight into Poland and Hungary and Finland and all the other countries that border them, and they're going to pick them off one at a time. So you've got to have somebody that says, no, this ain't going to happen. No, I don't think there is a limit to who can go in.
Well, part of the provision of this new bill was to put in the type of limitations or quotas and stuff like that.
A mutually agreeable point. We're making headway. Thank you, Joel. I knew it would happen someday. And you and I have been having these conversations for how many years? Yeah, Ukraine is not NATO, but it is opening up the NATO. One thing people don't know about Ukraine, obviously, is the fact they were number 3. Their economy is like number 3 on the planet. They're a huge country, and the grain shipments alone coming out of Ukraine are huge.
Well, I think we're going to have to establish a coalition for all of these things for lack of a term, the free world.
I think you're right, Gary.
whether it's NATO or whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, you know, we're just not the world's policemen. Can't be that.
No, but somebody has to do something, and if not somebody else, I guess it has to be us.
Well, the crazy part about it, going back to the border security deal, even Mitch McConnell supported it. The union, which handles the border guards, supported it. And they voted it down for one reason. Trump told them not to do it. Because there ain't no other sane reason available. How could you, I don't know. Really pisses me off that they diddled this one away. And once again, term limits. I'm 100% for it.
Yeah.
Well, you may see some of that happen at the ballot box this next election cycle. We'll see.
Well, Drain the Swamp with term limits. There's a Facebook group with over 500 members, and anybody out there is welcome to join. Got the Drain the Swamp from Trump. But basically, that's the only way we're going to change what's going on in this country right now is if we drain the swamp, because it is a swamp up there now. And all they're doing it for is the money, and they don't give a damn about you, and they don't give a damn about me. So all they want is me, and that goes from Mitch McConnell all the way down to the bottom of the trough. They're just in there for me. Mine and mine. Top military commander taken out in Iraq. We got the guy that planned the raid, the bombing that killed 3 American soldiers. Hope that makes everybody feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's already, you know, they're already protesting over there about that too. But and my idea is, what do you expect? Come on.
Who to give a hairy shit what they're protesting about?
Exactly. What do you expect? I mean, you start doing all this stuff and then you act all aggrieved because you get a response? That's just insane. That's beyond insane.
Yeah.
That's some sort of persecution mentality. Although I'm the one that started it. Duh.
I think that guy had to have known his days were numbered.
We don't have enough people because they're quitting because all their babysitters let the illegal aliens in. Talisa says, well, I think the policy that didn't pass was because some bullshit in it. Well, that's pretty much always.
Pork.
Russia's not strength to take over the area. That's true, but if we hadn't been putting them missiles, giving them missiles and money, they'd have run out of money and they would have been taken over 6 months ago, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. With it. If the rest of the world hadn't been, if the rest of the world hadn't been propping up Ukraine, Russia would have rolled.
Yeah, it'd have been over. It'd have been over a year ago, or more than that. It'd been over a year and a half ago, and Russia would own Ukraine now. And once you get in there, it's hard to get out.
Well, and Putin is, going to. His objective is to try to reestablish the old USSR.
They're coming so fast, Jay, that sometimes we can't get them. I miss them. It's not that I don't. I put them all up, but
we're so popular and all. It's hard to keep up with all the comments. And we appreciate them. We seriously, absolutely appreciate them.
Well, Jay, that tells me something's really weird because I heard out of his own mouth that he is for it. And that they should vote for it. Why did he change his mind? That was last night, and tonight he changed his mind.
I think what I was reading was that there were enough members of the Republican Party in the Senate that were not going to vote for it, that he read the writing on the wall and said, okay, well, I'm going to vote that way also. But he was in favor, strongly in favor, like you were saying, Bill, right up until last night.
I thought he was the one that helped craft the thing. They don't know what they want to do.
Yes, he did.
They don't know what they want to do, except if
No, I think they don't have a clue.
They're just, I don't get it.
Well, I think they have a clue, and some of it is it goes back to what Bill was saying, is they're not doing what the American people want in this instance. They're doing what their party wants them to do, and because they know what side their bread is buttered on. And so that's why the vote went the way it did today.
Well, McConnell is more worried about getting reelected than he is about doing the right thing, which is what tells me. And
they all are.
The rest of them are a bunch of wussies that won't let Trump down. You know, Trump said, don't do this, and I don't want to make Biden look good in election year. They did it. They did it, and I guarantee you, a certain percentage of them, enough to where it would have passed, believed that it was the right thing to do to vote yes for the bipartisan bill, and they still voted because they were scared of Trump. Big, bad, nasty-ass Trump. That's what it boils down to. Absolutely. A bunch of damn wussies. Israel rejects the latest deal for a ceasefire. I have to agree with them. They wanted a 4.5 month ceasefire, and they wanted complete withdrawal from Gaza. That ain't gonna happen. That's gonna be Eastern Israel now. They're gonna come in there.
Western Israel.
Would it be Western?
Yeah.
Yeah, Western. You're right. Got my brain all messed up. That happens when you get old. Thank you, William.
Sorry.
But they're going to come in there after this thing's over. I promise you what's going to happen. They're going to come in there with bulldozers, and they're going to push that town over. As big as it is, they're going to come in there with dynamite and bulldozers, and they're going to level it, and they're going to call it West Israel. They're done.
Well,
they're done with you know, and they're going to figure out somehow to put a wedge between them and the what's that little part that's right over to the right, the other side, whatever they call it, the West Bank. Yeah, they're going to figure out a way to separate them from the West Bank as well. I don't think they're going to try to gain any territory, but I guarantee you they're going to put a wedge between them because they're tired of getting whacked. And the latest massacre was the whatever killed the camel, or whatever the hell that saying is. Straw that broke the camel's back was literally broke the camel's back. Was the massacre that took place several months ago when thousands of Israelis were killed and kidnapped. They're tired of it. They're not going to put up with it anymore. It's done. And I have to agree with them.
Well, I think they go a little too far. Some of the things I don't mind defending themselves, but you know, some of those images coming out of there are horrific, and both sides are going to have to quit. I mean, that's an easy thing for me to say, to sitting here in my house all safe and warm and dry, but come on. You know,
he's old and shot.
Cut it out. You know,
I'm going through. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, y'all, and
you must be behind me because I've already put all those up. I put up everything.
Sorry, Bill. Okay, I'll stop right there. My bad.
The region over there wants more stability, and a lot of the countries around there want more stability. But the sticking ones are the ones that keep putting up with the terrorists. Iran or Iraq, those people, they're not interested in any kind of peace. They're just interested in fomenting, taking everybody back to the 13th century.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't deal with people like that.
I think Israel's going to handle it. We don't know what it's like. What if we were invaded by Mexico or something or another, and they come in here and kidnap people and raped and pillaged and murdered? Wouldn't we be upset if we didn't retaliate and try to wipe them out? I think we would. So Israel's going to do what they need to do to protect themselves.
Now, you can't blame them. I mean, yeah, like Gary said, it's horrific what's going on to the Palestinian people, the non-terrorist Palestinians. It's horrific. It's terrible.
Well, they've had time to get out of there.
Well, the problem is they got out of there, and then they started bombing the place they got out of there too. They told them, said, go to the south. They went to the south, and now they're hitting the south. So, 25,000 people dead.
Really?
Out of
I'm out of the loop on that.
Out of 25,000, maybe.
Yeah, easily 25,000.
To maybe 2,000 terrorists. So it took 23,000 deaths to get what they got done. I don't know what the answer to it is, obviously. If the terrorists wasn't such cowards and they wouldn't hide up under the hospitals and under the libraries, under the schools, where they think they're not going to get hit. That's where all their tunnels were.
Have you seen those warrens of tunnels? They are so elaborate.
Oh, yeah.
So well built and concealed. It's amazing. It really is, And now that we're retaliating over there too against some of these people. Again, it's got to be a coalition of the rest of the world to bring some pressure, particularly economic pressure. People don't understand anything these days except for money. If you can starve them out with that, then you get them to listen. Otherwise, they're just going to keep on killing one
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of working in Iran, but kids being killed is a really sad part of it. I absolutely agree. It just tears me up to watch. I saw something on TV today where maybe 6-7-year-old was standing there shaking with bandages on his arm, and he was shaking.
Couldn't quit shaking.
That just, that hits me right in the chest. I mean, I don't care if you're red, yellow, black, or white. That's not right. That child should have to go through that. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the problem, and I think that the worst part about it is those cowards go hide and build those elaborate tunnels under the people that don't have any clue what's going on. They're just trying to live. They're trying to eat. And which ain't easy in that part of the world as it is. And then you got these assholes that burrow under them like a skunk or something. And although skunks don't burrow, I don't think. I don't know. But that's the only thing I could think of as far as an animal. That they're I can't think of the appropriate word for those terrorists.
Skunk comes pretty close.
I can't think of an animal. I mean, the skunk is, I think more of skunks than I do of these people. And I can't think of an animal coyote. Yeah, we got coyotes around here. I really don't like those guys, and I'll shoot one if I see one. But, because of my dog. I like my dog more than most people, so a coyote ain't got a chance. But mole, that's it. Mole. That's what they are. They're moles. Moles pretty useless.
Except to another mole.
Rabbit. I like rabbits more than I like those people. Mole. Okay,
Well, they're just cowards hiding underneath the skirts of women and children.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's the kind of guy where you line up to, let's go at it, you SOB. Let's fight it out, and he pulls out a gun and shoots you. That's what those people are. That's what they're like. They have no morals, and they're just pieces of shit. I meant what I said. Let's see. Michigan mom guilty on all 4 counts. Her son is the one that lit up that school and killed 4 people. Earlier in the day, he was in the office with his parents because he had written, nobody's ever said what it was yet, but he had written something on his math homework that disturbed the teacher so much that she sent him and this to whatever he wrote to the office, and they called his parents in, and his parents said okay, whatever, and went on about their business, knowing that they had gifted him a 9mm. What was he, 16?
If that.
What do you mean gifted him? I don't understand.
Gave him a gun. Bought him a gun.
Gave him a gun.
Really?
Happy birthday. Here's your own 9mm so you can go out and shoot to school. You know.
Yeah, they bought the gun and gave it to him, and 4 days later he shot up the school. After the school administrators had an opportunity to stop it, and they didn't.
How did they have an opportunity to stop it?
They did what Bill was talking about. He was doing drawings or notes or something about shooting up the school, and they called him in to talk to him about it, and then and if I'm understanding this correctly, they suspected that he had a weapon, and they just turned him loose. You know, it didn't go any farther than that.
The father's going on trial next, Andrea. He's next.
Well, let me tell you. When I was a boy, my daddy bought me a pistol, but I didn't go to the school and shoot people with it. You know, there's a problem that people keep overlooking. These people, yeah, I think Allie's right. They're disturbed, but some of them are just evil. They're bad people. You don't give bad people weapons, or at least people that can't control themselves to the point that, oh yeah, taking this gun to school and shooting my teachers and my classmates, that's a great idea. No, it's not. Come on. I don't know, you know, there was a sheriff in Hall County at one time by the name of Bob Vass, became a friend of mine. He said, go down to my detention center. And he said, most of the people in that detention center do not have very much formal education, nor any religious training. He said, if you want to keep people out of jail, get them in school and get them in church. Now, you can read what you want to into that, but there's a lot to be said for that. If you leave a vacuum in somebody's head, something is going to come in and fill that. Yeah. And some of these strange, evil, and disturbing ideas, which I'm sure all of us have had weird things go through our heads at one time or another, but most of us don't act on those things because in the bottom line, we know better. We just know better. And some of these people apparently don't know any better, or they don't want to know any better.
Hey, I want to say something about a comment that Andrea made. She said, where's the father in all this? And that's what I want to know. I think he's
next.
Equally at fault. What'd you say,
He's
Bill?
coming up. They're doing separate trials.
Okay, good. That answers that question.
So he is
I think both parents are like equally negligent, bad people.
Yep, bad people. So much stigma about mental health and therapy is upsetting. I absolutely agree. It is an absolute a loss in our country that we hadn't handled this better, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, part of that's our mentality about it. It's cowboy up. We can handle it on our own, and sometimes we can't.
Well, I think we've had enough banter for the evening. Let's switch off and go to our next portion of our show.
All right. Well, for my portion of the show tonight, I'd like to read something that I have written. And I ran across it the other day, and I said, this kind of makes some sense. It already touches on some things we've already touched on tonight, but I'm just going to read through it. If both sides of the aisle have been willing to see what works and what does not in the rest of the world and work together, think bipartisan, to craft something we could all live with, we would not have what we do today. I think that may be the point. The sides no longer want to work together because those other guys and gals are no longer wrong. They're stupid and evil and not worth my time. The history of our country is replete with people who did not get along very well at all in the area of government, but still worked together to find reasonable compromises and move the country forward. That era appears to be over. We no longer have statesmen and stateswomen. We have politicians who are interested more in being reelected than doing what they're supposed to do when they are elected. A good idea is a good idea, no matter who comes up with it, and a pile of crap still stinks. Now, I get these messages all the time from the far left and the far right. The current crop of people running for the presidency scare the hell out of me. They have sought above all to tap into the national angst. People are just mad. I do get that, but I haven't heard anything substantive from any of them. Or if they have said it, it's been drowned amidst the furor of the vitriol spewing forth. What about true reform of the criminal justice system? Tax reform which benefits everyone, not just the uber rich or the terribly poor. A reasonable immigration plan. A foreign policy plan which is proactive rather than reactive. Education reform which gets results and leaves teachers and students informed and empowered, and on and on. I didn't even touch endless regulations which stymie needed reforms in the world of business and medicine. Spread the wealth, cries the left. Whose wealth? Yours? Mine? The poor don't have any money, and the rich are insulated by their money in the system. Government has no money except what we, the people, supply, and the government has frittered that away. If they hadn't blown the money on Social Security, on other things they've been taken from me in all these years, me and you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Entitlements? Damn straight I'm entitled to my money. The right's just as bad. Illegal immigrants or undocumented aliens or whatever phrase is de rigueur these days wouldn't even be here if employers here in the good old US of A hadn't given them jobs. Society as nature abhors a vacuum. Build a fence, please. Who's going to build it? Maintain it. Patrol those thousands and thousands of miles of border. Why stop at the Mexican border? Hey, Canada borders us to the north. Can't people sneak in from there? Round them all up. Poppycock. That would cost trillions of dollars, even if the employers and employees wanted it, which they apparently don't. The Dems are afraid of pissing off the unions, and the GOP doesn't want to be seen as soft on the issue. Would it surprise you to know the current administration has deported more people than any other to date? The dog and pony show, complete with smoke and mirrors, continues. Truth, justice in the American way, right? I've been waiting for common sense to take over, but sadly, common sense isn't nearly as common as it used to be. I think I still have a handle on truth and justice. As for the American way, that certainly has been up for debate. I want you to know, I wrote that with a few ad-libs thrown in lately. I wrote that during the Obama administration. And what has changed? Not a damn thing. We say we learn from the past, but we don't. And those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. That's my time out. Thanks for yours. I'm Gary Glenn.
This webcast is brought to you by William Lofton Photography. They can be found at williamlofton.com. Offering event residential portraiture at williamlofton.com.
Hey, everybody. Bill came to me with a good idea about what to talk about this week. And as fast as I can, I'm going to talk about Medicare and Medicaid. But really quick, what an awesome commentary, Gary. Thank you very much. So, very bottom line, too long, didn't read. Medicare is for old people. Medicaid is for poor people. But let's go into more detail than that. So what is Medicare? So Medicare is a national health insurance program for Americans who are 65 and older. It began in 1965 under the Social Security Administration, and it's administered by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Medicare was created to provide medical coverage for people who could not afford private health insurance premiums. Older people at the time paid about 3 times as much as younger people for health insurance before Medicare. So their health insurance premiums went up at the same time their ability to pay for them went down as they were retiring or fell out of the workforce. Medicare was based on the program that provided health care for military families after World War II. And as I said, it was signed into law in 1965. So what it is an entirely federal program. It's an insurance program that provides guaranteed benefits for all people over 65. It gets funding from your paycheck before you're retired. You pay a premium for Medicare. Once you start drawing it, it's a reasonable health insurance premium, especially compared to what health insurance premiums are today in the private market. It also gets funding from revenues that the government collects, basically income taxes. All Medicare recipients pay the same premium amount every month. And if you're receiving Social Security, Medicare comes out of your Social Security payment. One of the things people notice most about Medicare is that it has 4 parts. Part A is for hospitalization. Part B is medical insurance for doctor visits, outpatient care, wellness checks. Part C is Medicare Advantage, basically, and it's where a private insurer gets involved. That's the form of insurance that I have. Part D is prescription coverage. So that is a quick look at Medicare. Medicaid is a government program that provides health insurance for adults and children. I know I'm running over, with very low income and resources. The federal government provides a significant portion of the funding, and it sets baseline standards for state Medicare programs. So the federal government provides the funds, and the states throw in some funds and manage Medicare in each of the states. The states have wide latitude in determining who is eligible and how the programs are administered, and that in itself creates problems because there are big differences between the states. How they administer Medicaid from state to state can really vary. Medicaid was created in 1965 by the same legislation that created Medicare. The objective was to help states to assist those who could not pay for traditional private health insurance. And research shows that Medicare improves health outcomes, health insurance coverage, access to health care, and financial security for those who receive it. Who gets Medicaid? Maybe this is one of the most important parts of it. Young children in low-income families are eligible. Pregnant women with low incomes are eligible. Parents of Medicaid-eligible children who meet certain income requirements. In other words, they're poor enough to get it. Low-income disabled people, and that, in a nutshell, is who gets Medicaid. So basically, one of the things to remember differences between Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is a completely federal program. Medicaid, the funding and the standards, if you will, come from the federal government. The state administer it individually. Some interesting numbers really quick, and then I'll finish up. So 87 million people in America receive Medicaid. That's a lot of people, which tells me there's a lot of people who aren't making enough money out there. Children are the largest group enrolled. There are almost 40 million children on Medicaid. Medicaid recipients, Bill's honking me down. Medicaid recipients are 40% white, 21% black, 25% Hispanic, and 14% other races. Okay, you can reference all of this on our website. And if you have any questions anytime about something that I have in one of my little talks, please let us know. Thank you.
All right, this is an exciting week. We have the Super Bowl 58 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, 6:30 p.m. San Francisco 49ers open as a 2-point favorite over the Kansas City Chiefs, even though the Chiefs won it last year. The over-under is 47.5 points. So if you want to bet that they score 50 points between them, bet the over. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are in their 4th Super Bowl in the last 5 years, and they're looking for the 3rd Lombardi trophy under Mahomes. Mahomes told the team that this was a business meeting, and that if they won the game, instead of partying around, that he would take them to Las Vegas at a later date, and they could party all they wanted to. So that seems like a good idea. It's looks like it's Mahomes against Brock Purdy. Purdy was the last pick in the draft a few years ago, or 2 years ago, I guess. Mr. Irrelevant in himself. And also we have the drama of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Swift and Kelce, of course, been dating now about 6 months or 7 months. And they're a big item. Everybody seems to be a Swiftie. Reba McEntire will sing the national anthem. Usher will perform the halftime show. And, of course, all those brand new commercials we get to see. So looking forward to an exciting Super Bowl, 6:30 this Sunday at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. On the college scene, Nick Saban has accepted and been hired as an analyst for College Game Day. Salary was not discussed, so we'll have Nick Saban on College Game Day giving all his words of wisdom. And he's pretty smart. I like listening to him. On another topic, next Tuesday, the 13th, I think it's Tuesday, the Atlanta Braves will begin spring training with their pitchers and catchers reporting down in Florida. Can't believe baseball is almost here. It's February the 7th, and we're talking about playing baseball. In the NBA in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics still lead by 5 games over Cleveland Cavaliers. The Celtics are 38-12. The Hawks are still in 10th at 22-28. The poor, pitiful Hawks. Saw them the other night. They had a chance to win and blew it. In the Western Conference, there's a 4-way virtual tie for first. The LA Clippers are 34-15. The Oklahoma City Thunder is 35-16, along with the Minnesota Timberwolves at 35-16, and the Denver Nuggets at 35-16. So it's a tremendous race going on in the Western Conference of the NBA. In college basketball, men's side, NCAA, UConn is still number 1, followed by Purdue. North Carolina, who will drop. They lost the other night to Clemson. Only the second time ever that Clemson has beaten North Carolina in North Carolina. Followed by Kansas, Houston, Tennessee, Marquette, Arizona, Duke, and Illinois. That's your top 10 there in men's NCAA hoops. On the women's side, South Carolina is still undefeated at 21-0, and followed closely by Iowa, North Carolina State, Colorado, and Ohio State. Well, that's sports for this week. Again, the Super Bowl is the big headline coming up. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it next Wednesday when we give a recap of the Super Bowl. Thanks and good evening.
Well, it's whether or not my hair is going to be standing up because of these headphones. I'm so vain, I had to change it. That's the reason I cut my hair, because I'm so vain. They wrote that song about me, you know that? Anyway, the weather down here in Dixie is sweet. Last 3 days, it's been around 60 degrees. Been cold in the morning, but in the evening, it's been sweet. And we are enjoying it. Although we got some rain coming in this weekend, it ought to be hitting here by about Saturday afternoon, late. Now on the West Coast, it's a whole different ball game. They're getting flooded out in a big way. 4 people have died due to the mudslides and floods that's been going on in California. California's going to fall off the map someday. We all know that. It's a den of iniquity, and when it does, it is what it is. But that's pretty much the weather on the or not. Take a hike. Oh, not what I'm saying. I'm actually saying take a hike. Go out there and start walking. You're old or you're not in great shape. Start slow. Go out and walk a half a mile. 2 days later, walk a half a mile again. 4 days later, walk 3/4 of a mile. Just walk and enjoy it. Put some music in your ears or listen to the birds sing as you walk. I'm a living example of somebody that can change their life as far as physical goes. 4 years ago, I was smoking a pack and a half a day of cigarettes and stressing out about everything. This is when I was in a kitchen, and now I can go out and walk. I did a 14.5-mile hike on the Appalachian Trail in the mountains last year, and it is something that's absolutely possible. But start slow, go at your own pace, and just build from that. It can happen if you want it to happen. It's all up to you. Well, I think that's it for me. And we'll be right back. Whoops, wrong background. Bam, there it is. Hey, that's just me. I'm not going to do the conclusion by myself. here's the rest of the guys. Finishing
All right.
remarks.
Yeah, take a eye.
Well, guys, I think that was a very good show tonight. Let's go back and look at
A lot of great participation.
some of the comments we missed. People won't go if they can't afford it because of the stigma, talking about mental health clinics. Actually, you're absolutely right. I don't. I believe what you're saying, and it's true. And we need to let people know that if you're having a mental health issue, you know you are, get some help. There's lots of places out there that are available. You know, ask a friend. Go on Google and say, how do I get mental health? I mean, there's help available for you, and we are behind you in that aspect. Absolutely. We don't need a time clock on. Let's see. Jay Johnson put a comment up, and I'm not going to put it on. It was directly towards me, and we don't need to see that. John, also part of Medicare can be a Medicare supplement. Why don't you, where you don't have to have a Part C, you have a separate supplement for out of pocket and can opt for Part D prescription plan. Costs more. Any comments on that, John?
Yes, Andrea makes a good point. This is where you don't have a Medicare Advantage plan that involves a private insurance company, like say United Healthcare or somebody. Yet your insurance, all of your health insurance, comes from Medicare. So you've got Part A, Part B, and Part D. The prescription plan costs a little more that way. But it is possible to get Medicare without, even if you don't have medical insurance through United Healthcare or another private insurer like that. So good point. Thank you, Andrew.
You know, you can email us at intelligentramblings.com at gmail.com if you want to ask questions, or you can read our ramblings at intelligentramblings.com and comment there, and let us know what you're thinking us. But
all right, who you picking?
I'm going for the 49ers.
I'm with you. My wife is the Chiefs fan in the house. I don't know. What do you think, John?
I'm 49ers, yeah. Although I really think that Kansas City's going to win.
I guess I'm Swifty.
Okay.
I'm a Swifty and going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right.
They've got three Georgia players on there. I meant to mention that, but 3 Georgia players on Kansas City. Or no, 3 on the 49ers, 2 on Kansas City.
49ers, yeah. Well, also, before we leave, I want to say rest in peace, Toby Keith.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great country music singer and a great American. You can say what you want to about his politics, but he was behind the U.S. of A.
Absolutely, Gary. He's one of my favorite country artists of all time. And Andrea's saying, changing my mind about Taylor. I think she's good for the NFL football.
She's got a lot of women interested in Kansas City anyway.
I think the NFL thinks she's good for NFL football too.
I think you're exactly right. And since she won a couple more Grammys the other night, I think she's going to be even better.
I just soon hear her at halftime as Usher. No offense to Usher, I'm sure he's a fine fellow, but I just don't like his music.
Well, at least they got Reba singing the national anthem.
And don't forget, folks, we have merchandise, Intelligent Ramblings. I'm so smart, I have Intelligent Ramblings. And we're going to upgrade that as well and add some more slogans on there in the near future. Well, I enjoyed it, guys, and I look forward to it. and we'll see y'all next week.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Happy Wednesday, over
Good
Hump
night.
Day.